Hi everyone, Alex here. I just want to take you through some practices that you can do anytime, anywhere to really just bring some love to the wrists because we put a lot of tension on them during yoga. So we're going to go ahead and get started and just shake the hands so the fingers just dangling heavy, shake them towards the floor. Maybe even the fingers, you'll hear a little sound if they start to snap, just letting them loosen up in their joints for a moment. Beautiful. And then take the hands into prayer, placing the palms together. And I call this a prayer press. So you're going to press the palms together and then press the palms downward. So it's a subtle movement. It's hard to see, but you'll start to feel it in the top of the wrists. So the hands are pressing together and then the palms, the prayer is pressing down towards the floor. Beautiful. Drop the shoulders away from the ears. Another breath or two here. And then keeping the hands together in this prayer, start to lift the hands back up. You can let the elbows settle down. And then open the hands so that the pinkies are connecting and the palms are facing the body. And keep rolling them so that the back of the hands connect. Then start to take the fingers down and then out toward away from the body. And then start to bring the palms back together. So you're making circles here with the wrists. You're keeping the hands connected. And the fingers are coming in towards the body, then down and away. Two more circles here. And gentle pressure when you're doing this. And then reverse the circle so the fingers will come towards the body and come back to the pinky edges connecting, palms connect. And then just keep that rotating. Again, two more here. Beautiful. I'm going to extend one of your hands. Take the other hand to the fingertips, palm facing away from the body, fingertips facing the floor. And soft elbow but arm lengthen. Just gently tug those fingers towards the body. I feel a nice stretch on the top of the forearm here. So the forearms are also key in our wrist health. So it's super important that we pay attention to the forearms as well as the wrists. Beautiful. Bend the elbow, shake out the wrists, and switch whatever arm was extended, extend the other. And again, take one hand to the fingertips as they face the floor, press into the hand that is holding the fingers, and gently tug the fingers towards the body. Couple more breaths here. Beautiful. Release that. Shake the wrist out. Next thing we're going to do is another subtle shift in movement, but it's also very important to stretch the front of the wrist. So take your right hand into a fist. Bring the fist so that the palm's facing the body. Take the left hand, wrap it around the wrist. Squeeze tightly. Pull the skin of that wrist down. And then, if this is not enough, you can start to curl that wrist in towards the body. You're really pulling pretty hard down on that wrist, the skin really drawing towards the floor. You can also shift that curled wrist side to side. See how that changes where the stretch is feeling. It's almost like a burning, tight stretch sensation. After a few breaths, you might have to readjust and tug. Maybe bring that hand a little higher up the wrist as your hand starts to slide down. Yeah, keep actively pulling that wrist in toward the body. Two more breaths. And release. Shake it out. Take that left hand into a fist, palm facing the body. Take that right hand, wrap it around the wrist. Big squeeze and big tug down. Take the fist towards the body, maybe swaying that wrist side to side. Readjusting if you need to. Two more breaths. Beautiful. Start to release that again, shaking the wrists out. And this time we're going to come into sort of a cat-cow position, but instead of having the fingertips facing forward, we're going to take the fingertips and face them towards the body. So you might have to walk the hands in a little closer here than your average cat-cow because it is a pretty deep stretch. And if it is too much, you can start to walk the knees and take a little pressure off the wrists. And you can simply stay here, or maybe you play with shifting your weight forward and back, side to side, kind of finding where that sweet spot is where you need a few more breaths. And take that moment to pause and send the breath to the wrists. Option to stay here or taking a few cat-cows, dropping the belly, lift the heart, lift the gaze. As you exhale, rounding the spine, dropping the chin to the chest. Inhale. Exhale. Come back to that neutral spine. If you took your cat-cows, release the wrists, shake them out. And from here, again paying attention to the forearms, I'm going to take the right forearm and bring it parallel to the front of the mat. I'm going to scooch the knees in pretty close, using the left hand for support out to the side for balance. And take the left knee, so the opposite arm of the leg, and just place it on top of the wrists. And you'll notice the more pressure you apply, your fingers will start to curl in. So you're immediately starting to bring that natural movement into the fingers. And just work your knee up from the wrists over the forearms. So you can see as I do so, I'm making my fingers curl in manually. And apply as little or as much pressure as feels good. If you have really bony knees, you might want to shift up and get more of the top of the shin into the wrist, the forearm. And take it up and down one more time. If there's a super tense spot, maybe you stop there and make little gentle circles on the knee, with the knee on the wrist. Beautiful. Sit it back and switch it out. So that left forearm down to the mat parallel. Scooch the knees in, bring weight into the left knee, lift the right knee, and place it on top of the wrist. And just make your way up and down the forearm. And you can see if I keep my wrist tense, my fingers won't move. Just completely let loose of your wrist. Let the fingers curl in. Maybe stopping and making little circles on any little spots that need some more love. Making your way up and down the arm one or two more times. Beautiful. Sit back, release that. Shake it out. And here we're going to take actually a pretty fun pose to do. It seems a little awkward, but just go ahead, come up to a squat position so the knees aren't super wide or super close together. Hip width maybe a little wider. Take a deep squat and then take the arms, wrap them around the back of the thighs, and let the forearms rest in the creases of the knees. And then you're going to sit back. You might have to lift the heels off so that you come into a squat. So the forearms are in between the calf and the thigh, and then just rock the hips side to side. And you can straighten a little bit. Again, move forearms further out or closer together. So just playing here for a moment, rocking side to side, playing with maybe shifting how deeply in the forearm or down the wrist you are. Two or three more breaths here. Should feel pretty good. And when you're ready, going ahead, releasing that, making your way into gorilla. So heel to the feet about hip width apart. Slide the hands underneath the toes, all the way so that the toes are in the creases of the wrists. This is a pretty standard pose that we do a lot in yoga, so this might be pretty familiar. just work the hands as far as you can underneath the feet. You might have to have a deep bend in the knees here. You can just stay here. Maybe you start to fold into the body, letting the elbows come wide. You can also play with balance here, lifting one heel and then the other. And it's making sure you take a moment to wiggle the toes in the creases of the wrists, getting a little wrist massage. Beautiful. Inhale, halfway lift. Release the hands from underneath the feet. And just come back down to the knees. Take the hands together, interlace the fingers. Inhale your arms overhead, flip the palms to the sky. And exhale, shake the wrist down to the floor. Beautiful. You can do that whole entire practice or just one or two of the movements anytime, anywhere. Just make sure that you give your wrists lots of love after yoga because, again, we do tend to put a lot of pressure on the wrists. Hope you enjoy.